Jerry, I don't know how to start this. Perhaps you want to talk about this courageous barefoot lawyer, blind lawyer, Chen Guangchen. On September 9th this year, he was just released after serving a sentence of 4 years and 3 months. And ever since, he has been placed under strict house arrest, and his communication to the outside world has completely cut down. Do we know more about him? And do you want to talk about his background, why he got into trouble in the first place?
Chen Guangcheng is a rather brilliant yet quite simple farmer. He was the fifth son of a very poor, literally I say dirt poor, farming family in Shandong province, which has roughly 100 million people. He lives in a very rural part of a city of Linyi that has over 10 million people, even though most people outside China have never heard of it. He lives in Yinan County, which is a very hard place to make a living. He lives in Dongshigu village. I visited him there about 5 years ago before he got in serious trouble. It has about 500 residents. He lives in a very poor farmhouse. He has an elderly mother. His father had died in the last few years. 3 of his brothers, second, third, and fourth, have had to leave the area because there's no way they could even scratch a living out of the soil. As is customary, his oldest brother remained with the family and became a farmer. And when Chen Guangcheng, who became blind at the age of 6 months, finished a school for the blind in Nanjing, university level school, instead of practicing amour, the kind of massage technique that many blind people in China learn in order to support themselves, because he deeply felt discrimination against blind people and other disabled people, decided he should devote himself to trying to help disabled people. He figures that roughly 10% of the population where he lives in Yinan County are disabled. He figures if there are 10 million people in Linyi City, including 18 counties around it, that means there are over 1 million disabled people, and that they often suffer discrimination and they're denied access to services, they're not fairly taxed, and he decided he would try to help people using the law, which he learned through self-study. I've been told that no blind people have ever graduated from a Chinese law school. He had hoped to study law, and I had made some arrangement, because we were friends, for him to study law at a night law school in Shanghai. But before that could happen, he was first put under informal, unauthorized, illegal house arrest, and when that didn't cause him and his wife to cease their human rights public interest activities, he was then criminally detained, arrested, prosecuted, convicted of obstructing justice, and sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in prison after 2 rounds of trials. The trials were a farce. Witnesses weren't permitted to appear, lawyers were inhibited or not permitted to appear. It was a sad commentary on justice. Chen we call a barefoot lawyer because he studied law on his own. I bought him $100 worth of law books in the New China bookstore in Beijing, and he made good use of them. Very nice texts on administrative law, tax law, civil procedure, administrative law particularly. And he became quite effective, and the local courts were embarrassed by him. He was constantly asking them to take action against the local officials, the officials who appoint the judges and pay their expenses and their salaries. So there's a built-in conflict of interest.